but it's so damn enjoyable. I mean, how does that feel that like, you are the reason that everybody still remembers that movie, and I mean, Garbage Day is so infamous and beloved, and I think that it's thanks to you that this is such a a cult film to this day. And how did that feel like? How does that resonate with you that you're of cult film status and kind of a legend in that that kind of realm?
Kind of a latecomer to find out about all this, but well, I'm 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 humbled by it, and I never understood. Wow, there's people looking for me. There's all this whole and then Garbage Day, of course. I swear more people have seen Garbage Day than they have the movie, but it's I still don't believe it. And when I'm with Robert Wilson, if we do a convention or something, uh, we just talk because we have talked several times on this. Like I said, Robert, how is it that people come to see us? I'm just as floored as he is, and he's arguably more popular. But people come from states away. They'll drive down from Canada to Texas, and they've done this, where you just. But so I'm flattered, and I am a bit embarrassed in the sense that like, wow, you. But a lot of people have nice stories that come along with meeting me. Their father turned them on to it, or their son or their one lady or her daughter had a disease and wasn't didn't live very long, but they always enjoyed the movie every Christmas. And so
Wow.
I mean, to me it's really cool. I don't know if it's waning, if there's still a lot of people that are looking at it, or there's new people finding it. I don't know, but I do know that it makes people happy, and they like it they'll watch it in Thanksgiving, and they'll watch it at Christmas, they'll watch it just after Christmas.
Yeah. Um, and just getting back to the film and its structure, did you ever have a full script, and were the scenes that were from the original film, were those in the script, or did you kind of just have whatever pages that you were involved in? Like, how did they present this to you?
Yeah, you're right. I had no script. It was more. It was just the little scenes. It was I didn't know. And truly, in fact, that day I talked about driving up my car. A little bit miffed at Joe that I didn't know what we were doing, and it wasn't like they were calling me ahead of time saying, "Hey, look at pages 60 through 72." But the person I knew just from my background, that wardrobe would know what we were doing that day, because they would have to put me in, wardrobe, the certain wardrobe for that scene, etc. So I asked wardrobe every morning, "What are we doing?" And it would be various parts of the script. There wasn't a script. It was just that was the thing. It was no context to what I had in the pages. It was a little bit of pages 14 to 21 and 30 to 36. So the question is good, but it was just pages of interspersed for the movie, and then where the movie is, I guess mine is the Mayhem Day, Garbage Day on, where that was all, those pages all came together for the most part. It was just a lot. There wasn't a lot of dialogue. There was more action oriented things, and killing Mother Superior, and but no script.
Interesting. And so, did you end up going to the premiere of this film? Like, what were your initial reactions when you first saw the finished product?
No premiere. I kind of I was always in my brain always looking for my work. In that one, I was like, well, I'll just keep looking in the newspaper. Um, Lead and say, hey, it's playing at it was playing at the Chinese Theater in Hollywood. I didn't know that. I went to some theater in Culver City, real rundown theater. Silent Night, Deadly Night 2. somewhat of a late showing. It was after some other movie. My poster was on the wall. I sat down, saw the movie. I was kind of sitting in the back. It was 3/4 filled. There was a lot of shouting at the screen of people telling me what to do. Don't go in there. So a lot of that, and I watched it. It's it didn't it didn't go over bad. It just seemed like maybe I was critical, but it like, well, okay. And I was leaving, and I saw my poster on the wall. I tore my poster off the wall.
When they went to make the third one, were you made aware of that, or did that just kind of come and go? And with Silent Night, Deadly Night 3, or any of the other sequels?
I knew Monty Hellman. I knew that director because I had auditioned for him several times. Monty's claim to fame was a movie called Two-Lane Blacktop, with James Taylor as the lead, the singer. It was a good movie. It was the late 60s, or no, it was mid 70s. It was something. It was mid 70s, I think. And Monty was still kind of had a name for that, and he probably had worked for Corman at one time, but Monty had a lot of those casting calls I talked about would have Monty Hellman in them, and Monty Hellman will be directing this. And a lot of these movies never came to be with Monty. They would just get into preliminary stages and not be funded or whatever, and crash and burn. But I did talk to Bill Moseley, who did Part 3, he was the lead in that, and he said, well, they just didn't want to have anything to do with 2. I think Monty just did not like it, wanted it to be dark and kind of strange. And so although I had auditioned for him maybe half a dozen times prior, I don't know if he even knew me, but it wasn't like they contacted me and the 3 was coming out. They went completely. And seen it. I should say I've only seen parts of it. Just recently, a year ago, I saw parts of it because it was a double feature at Tarantino's theater in Hollywood, where Part 3 was after my movie, but it was so late, it was like 2 a.m. I just wanted to go, but it had a different flavor, and some people say he had like a salad bowl on his head, and brains were showing. But Bill Moseley's not too proud of that movie, and I said, well, join the club.
It's interesting. I've seen every, one of these films, and the only 2 that have any lasting power, in my opinion, is the first one and the second one. And the second one is because of you. And like I said, I'm sure that you've gotten some flack and things like that, but I absolutely adore the performance. I think it's great. It's fun. And that's why every year I go back to watching that. It's because of your performance in it.
Very kind. Thank you. There are fans exactly feel just like you do. Like, hey, this is fun. This is, get my cocktail, or, fire up a joint. But no, thanks. Look, it is fun. Like I said, if it wasn't me, I'd laugh with it too. But I understand. Like, people that love one, and some of them love both, and some say, hey, if I had a choice, I'll just get the second because I got everything in there from one. And so, and Robert did a great job of his part. He played it like it should have been played, and I think I wouldn't have done. I don't know if we'd even be talking if I would have seen that movie. Chances are my performance would have been entirely different. I would have had a darker. I would have taken that into consideration and adjusted my performance, and maybe, but I don't think it would have legs.
So I know that we had talked about this prior, but I have to ask if the opportunity arose, would you reprise Ricky? Is the door closed on Ricky, or would you take the opportunity to play that character again?
I'd love to. I'm not 20 anymore, but when I first found out Part 2 and people looking for me, I to drive home several 1,000 miles or a couple of miles from the middle, and I got a lot of the flavor of what people were saying, bad and good. So my thoughts were first and foremost, I'll show you. I'll write something that'll be so good, I'll blow two away, I'll blow one away, I'll blow all of it away. And that's what I did for a number of years now, about 5 years. Wasn't able to go forward on it because I couldn't get the rights, and I needed the rights because I'm not a name. That's what I wanted to do is pursue that. And Robert Wilson from Part One wanted to be part of it, and Bill Moseley, which I mentioned, also be good because they're both well known. And but it's a great script. It's got a lot of the Caldwell mayhem in it, and I guess the common denominator with me of all this, and I think everyone agrees, is just like, does it have energy? Does it have pace? Does it have a good story? Does it move along quickly? I consider it a pretty well written, and people that have seen it or read it enjoy it.
All right. Well, it has been an absolute honor. I thank you so much for giving me your time and all this wonderful information. So yeah, just to wrap up, I just want to say thank you, and everybody check out Silent Night, Deadly Night 2. It's an awesome movie if you haven't seen it. Yeah, I really appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Sure, John. I probably had other things to say and I cut you off talking too long, but thank you. And yeah, watch the movie. Judge for yourself.